Welcome to the Talking Pictures podcast with yourself, David, and myself, Brian. David.
Brian, how are you?
This is our first published podcast, our first ever for 2023. After a few testers and not so great movies and somewhat subpar recordings, we're happy to finally get going on chatting movies, shows, games, books, all of the above, anything in between.
Exactly, yeah. We finally decided we were going to the cinema enough. We ended up talking for about an hour afterwards. Anytime we're like, you know what, maybe let's record this and maybe other people might, enjoy it, or they might share some opinions, they might disagree. But,
You can all fuck off if they disagree, but no haters here. It's funny, this is how it all started. A couple of car journeys of just chatting movies and anything popular among TV, anything to do with actors, characters, the whole pop culture, from Star Wars to the MCU. And it was enough for us to start chatting with this, and sure, let's do a podcast out of it.
So we wanted to start today with probably what could possibly be one of the biggest movies of all time, which is the newly released Avatar, The Way of Water.
I don't think it's going to be the biggest movie of all time. The first one was, to a certain degree, at least for the time it was released. Waiting 13 years, it has crossed $1 billion now, has it?
It's at most recent check, which is on the 2nd of January, it was 1.38 billion. So I love when they say the 0.38, as if, oh yeah, just 0.38, but that's 380 million. Like, it's more money than most people will ever see in their whole life. But it's crazy money for a movie that came out at the end of December to be one of the most profitable movies of the year. That's an incredible feat.
And it still has a couple of months in this year to go.
Mm-hmm. I saw, interestingly enough, the first week, obviously its biggest week, and then the second week was the big drop off. Like Box Office Mojo did the percentage drop off, and it was like a 68% drop off, which was massive. But then in the third week there was a 0% drop off. Like, it made as much money in its third week as it did its second week.
People keep catching on to the following weeks, same as the first one. When the original Avatar came out, it didn't do too well at all in its first opening weekend, as if that matters in Ireland. We always get everything late. But it seems to be taking the similar approach here for the sequel. Quite a lot of similarities both within the movie and surrounding the making of it and its distribution. But I think it's deservedly so. I think the movie, excuse myself, is well earned its status. It's even earned the hate, because there was always that hate for the first Avatar.
There's a lot of people that just don't think Avatar is culturally relevant, and it only did so well because of the 3D. And I think James Cameron really wanted to come back and show people no, these are good movies as well. And he's pushed the technology again. And in fairness, people are going to see the movie. And if I had this conversation with my dad, he was like, oh, I'm not sure if Avatar is really culturally relevant. Jeez, can't say that word today. But I was like, well, in fairness, you can say that definitely, and it hasn't had that much of an effect on pop culture, but there's so many people that are going out to see this one. And if people are going to see this one, presumably they like the first one enough that they'd go and spend their money again. It's not every movie is making $1.38 billion in 3 weeks.
Unless it's pretty much a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie. But you see, it's almost easy to say that the gimmick is the technology and the visual effects. You can say that as easily as you can, but Jesus Christ, when you watch the sequel and how the technology has improved, it just depends on how you take it. We acknowledge it's a simple story. I acknowledge this is a much more small personal story than the first one. From characters to fights to the epic fight scene. It's all small and personal. It's just the next chapter for the third. and thank God we're getting a third and a shot already. But it's the first one's Dancing with Wolves, and this one we've seen it all before, but there's nothing else like it.
No,
There's nothing else like it. There's how much of percent is there human in it? 10%, where it's just him on its own. Any human. The rest, it's all motion capture with real water.
Yeah,
Their actors are in the water. So,
I think, I don't know about you, but when watching the movie, there was never a point when I thought like, oh, James Cameron didn't go to another planet and film this. Like everyone looks so good. Like you're saying there, that everyone is CGI, but they look so good. Like you fully believe, oh no, this is an alien race.
yeah.
There's no wonkiness to it. There's no like, oh, that didn't look great. Like it's all with a fine tooth comb. Like it's all exceptionally done.
Did you think I think it was 48 frames per second. Did you think that hit you? Did it stand out?
I never noticed it. I think I just never noticed it at all. I need to go back and watch it again and see, like be looking out for it. But it was not something that I was aware of, especially when it was changing within the frame. I don't know. It never clicked. That never, hit me, I guess.
I think it would have hit me if the movie was bad, and it didn't.
If you were looking for problems.
Yeah, I think it would just add to it. But the fact, winning cures everything. Since it was good, we all love to talk about how good it was. If it was bad, we'll just hit on it even more. So I think between the chat among ourselves here and to those listening, we like the movie. And I'd like to hear what you think about why you like the movie in terms of the story, because we can talk all day about the technology and the visuals, but movies are storytelling, and James Cameron is looking to tell at least 5 chapters in this Avatar universe. I hope he doesn't sell it. I hope he takes the rights to his grave. I don't want this to be exploited to death like Star Wars is sort of turned into.
You want to have a nice consistent story, and it's visualized from start to finish.
This is all because of the characters that have been introduced in the first one, and stick with that. But if you'd like to talk about what you thought about the story of The Way of Water, the characters that were in it, anything you would have done differently, something you would have kept the same, any thoughts and your opinions? Why are we talking about this?
Yeah, I suppose it's a good question. Why are we talking about this as our first episode? Something about Brian, maybe the audience should know, is that Brian doesn't watch trailers. Brian watches teasers, but when he really, really likes a movie, he's not going to watch the trailer for it because he wants it all to be surprised. He wants to see it all on the big screen. And there's some movies I do the same for, and this was one of them. So we both watched the teaser, and I was like, that's enough. I don't need to see anything else. I just want to see it all on the big screen. And I'm so glad that I did that, because going into it, I had no idea. I knew Stephen Lang was in it in some aspect, but the fact that he was like the main villain and he was an avatar, I was like, hold on a minute. I was not expecting this. So going into it fully blind, I think really helped. I enjoyed it a lot more because I really had no idea what was coming. I had no idea what the set pieces were. I had no inkling of, what characters, where they were, who they were interacting with, or anything like that. Because I know that sometimes you can watch a trailer and you can be expecting something to happen. You're waiting for something to happen. Like the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Like there was the shot of MJ falling. So you know that's going to happen at some point, and it's just something that you're constantly, looking out for. So I just stayed away from the trailer, and I thought that it was all the better for it. I don't know about you. What do you think?
I would say I didn't go in as blind as you. Not for the same reason, because I also did not watch the preceding trailers after the teaser. The teaser hooked me. I even left a voice note of what I originally thought, and I haven't listened to it since. But the movie, I knew a few things going into it. I knew Stephen Lang was going to return as an Avatar because I Wikipedia it.
Oh, ruined on yourself.
I wouldn't call it a ruin because, this actor's coming back. Same with Sigourney Weaver. I was glad to see that she was coming back. I knew she was coming back slightly different compared to Stephen Lang. Stephen Lang is the same character, even though he's an Avatar, whereas Sigourney Weaver is a different character. Which I also knew she was coming back. I knew they had 3 kids. I didn't realize they had a 4th in that of Sigourney Weaver. I thought they already had a 5th adopted one, Spider, who was actually not really their adopted son, human son. He was more so always there. I did not know he was Stephen Lang's Quaritch's son. And I was expecting Giovanni Ribisi to be in a lot more.
He's only in that one scene.
One scene.
Yeah.
But perhaps he's going to be in the 3rd one. Nice to see any actor that was in there. I was expecting, aside from maybe Vin Diesel, he's coming. Vin Diesel's coming to Avatar 3, as far as I know. And I didn't know anything else really in regards to the story. Obviously, of course, humans come back. But what's the details of the story? We didn't know it was going to be them seeking refuge in exile, and that they would stay among the reef people. I knew Kate Winslet was playing Ronald, and I knew Cliff Curtis, who I know from other movies and shows, was playing the chieftain. He was great. Hoping to get more of them, especially Kate Winslet. It feels like she's there only for that sequel, because she was only there for a limited time on set. Like that, it's very well known that she was there for such a little time. But yeah, I thought, even watching the trailers after the movie, the trailers don't reveal too much about the story. It's just all visual spectacle and fight scenes, and pretty much what a trailer should do, but it still didn't give away on what the story was, which I think it would have sort of annoyed me. Another reason as to why I didn't watch the trailers, and I'm glad I didn't, because it didn't tell you what the movie was about, which I've just stated here, spoilers aside. So I thought it was more of an ensemble story following the family rather than Jake Sully himself.
And how did you feel about that? Because I wasn't expecting it to be such a departure from Jake. I thought it was going to be Jake's story throughout. Yeah. I wasn't expecting to spend so much time with the kids.
Yeah, First of all, I thought the kid Spider, the human kid, I thought he was going to be a standout from the rest. I thought he was going to be the lead of the children, especially in that opening shot of the trailer. He's first leading them. He's ahead of all the avatars. But I would class him as a 3rd lead kid after Doak, who is making a connection with the whale, and Sigourney Weaver's Kiri, who I believe has big plans set up for her.
Oh yeah,
being the Jesus Christ figure, we could call it. But even though I like the ensemble aspect, it did feel like Jake Sully was there at the start, and he was always there in the background, having his presence there in around the family, and then at the very end. In the last clash fight, but I did miss him.
Yeah,
and I did miss Sam Worthington. I want Sam Worthington because he is the Avatar in the first one.
Yeah,
and now in this one, it's moved beyond him, and it felt so much like a departure of his singular story. I believe Quaritch was going to kill him in the end. I very much believe that. Jake Sully's arc, who was all about trying to protect his family by running away, like even to the point where he's telling the reef people to send their whales away, to Tulacoons, I forget their name, but they're whales. Yeah, you got to set them away. Remember that scene? Yeah, he's telling them, tell them all to go, run, and like that's I think for me when I realized also this is his arc. This is
he's changed from the Marine who's gone to fight to now someone who wants to protect and move away.
And then when he ends up goes to fight Quaritch at the end, when he could have just easily left with his family, that would ultimately be his downfall. That would be some close to Shakespeare type of stuff, especially because I fully believe Quaritch is going to come around.
You think
Stephen Lang's character is going to come around?
Yeah, I think I could definitely see him. Like, he's doing all this for the humans, but he's no longer a human.
Yeah,
you know, so they'll toss him aside as easily as the Na'vi.
Yeah,
you know, what's a place for him in the society where he is no longer a human? Do you know?
Exactly.
And I think that scene you're talking about there where they fought, that was great because that could have easily been they call, come on, like you got to fight me now, and he backs away, and that's how he's in the, they never fought, so that's why he's going to be in the third one,
which would have been lackluster.
Oh, definitely, yeah. So at least we got that moment where it's like Jake is like, all right, let's finish it now then, and they go for it, and you get the fight between them. The person, I don't know about you, but in a similar vein to Jake kind of being pushed to the side, Neytiri was almost not in it. Neytiri was my favorite in the original, and then this one she was really kind of relegated to the opening, and then the fight. When she had to fight. Now she had the great sequence on the barge.
Yeah.
But other than that, like the actual middle of the movie, she was nowhere to be found. She was just kind of she was the stay-at-home mother in a few background scenes. But
I agree with you there, and she was second to Jake in terms of screen presence. She was not there for a whole lot. I do believe, though, they will make a comeback.
I hope so.
I do believe they'll be more pivotal in the third one. It feels strange to say that. It shouldn't be. It should always be Jake and Neytiri.
I could see the third one being the end of their arc, and then if we do get a fourth and fifth, that it's their kids are now kind of the adults, and Jake and Neytiri, whether they die or if they are just kind of the elders then.
I don't know how they're going to go about it. Only because I'm taking it in the sense they're not going to have these young child actors take over the lead of the $2 billion, $3 billion franchise. I love that Sam Worthington is the face of that. He's the lead of that. He's the name of that. And if Jake Sully were to die, who would be the lead? Neytiri? Neytiri is very set in her one way, where she would kill a human child. Whereas Jake Sully wouldn't do that. He's got a bit of moral. His only flaw is his arrogance, such as when he went to fight Quaritch. Whereas Neytiri needs to be put on a leash. How could she be the lead character
when she's willing to sacrifice someone?
Not even just willing to sacrifice someone, but because what she's going to be set in this one way, this one rigged, vicious, set in her way type of personality. How could she, I guess, lead the franchise from one side of the perspective, whereas Jake Sully comes from both?
Yeah, he's seen it from both worlds. Yeah, that's a good point.
How could Neytiri be that as the lead character? And I could see maybe some of the kids do that, but I just don't think the kids are going to be the first name up there. For some reason, I always think it's going to be Jake Sully until it's going to be someone else where it suits. I'm slightly taking Stephen Lang's character, but I don't know what his plans are for after the third one. Maybe he dies, maybe he doesn't. I trust James Cameron. He's never been in a bad movie, really.
Yeah, I know that's what people say is like, it's Avatar, no cultural relevance, But it's like, well, it's the most profitable movie of all time. What was his movie before that? Oh, Titanic, the most profitable movie of all time. Like James, and then he's Terminator, Aliens. Like it's James Cameron knows how to make movies, and he apparently knows how to make movies that appeal to a real general audience.
Yeah.
Like
he made a human story about a family, your kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you made a real human story with aliens.
Yeah,
and people can connect with it. It's
he made all the kids likable. Even the young child. People love to talk shit and say, the kid was annoying as hell. I thought the young Kara was funny. I thought she was cute. I thought the little few lines she had, sure there was a pure innocence. There was quite a few scenes where where we're introduced to a new setting, such as the reef people, or when we're first getting into the motion of the story. She was always there first to look at it from the eyes of a newborn. Us, the audience, seeing this for the first time. That's what it was like. So all the kids were great. Even the other son, who is Ark, he knew he was going to die because it foreshadowed it quite a bit, and it feels like his arc was to get killed in the end. And I think he was always the older brother. He was the more protective brother, the one taking the fall for his siblings' antics, whereas the other son, the reckless a kid who becomes more sensitive to the nature and the whales, and all the characters are great. There was not one character I didn't like. Even the New Zealand mariners and whale hunters, they were great. I remember thinking, Jesus, his accent is like fucking. It doesn't feel like he's in a serious moment because of the way he's exaggerating his wording, but I still liked them quite a bit. And even the payback that the whale gave, which the whale was a great character. I remember thinking when there was just a couple of scenes where the whale, there was dedication to the whale, stringing along the hunters, and the lead guy loses his arm. Payback for the whale losing his.
Exactly, yeah.
Spin. So,
I think if there was one thing I was going to change, it would have been when they killed the whale and they were like taking the thing out of it. And they were like, oh, they were like, oh, this goes for 80 million back home. It stops aging completely. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, it's just like, I felt like that was a story element that was like, they were just trying to justify why they were attacking the whales.
Yeah.
Rather than, they could have just attacked the whales to draw out Jake, but it was in with the first one, then when they attacked the home tree and they were trying to get unobtainium.
Yeah.
Like, that was just a very strange thing to go from that and now to this. Like, why is everything on this planet?
I think two things I have to say to that. One, it was easily acceptable for unobtainium in shooting down the tree. You felt that because it was all about getting the unobtainium. We were never foreshadowed about getting the goo from the whale. It was never foreshadowed. It was only then and there during the whole sequence where, like, what are you doing this for? Oh yeah, this is why we're doing this. This is why we're hunting whales.
And it was never mentioned again after that. It was just that one scene, whereas it could have easily been, we're killing them to draw out the reef people that are harboring Jake.
Well, that was the reason for Quaritch to allow it. But
right.
There's the reason as to why the humans were doing this.
Yeah, it was for the money. Yeah.
But if they had just foreshadowed it or even introduced them doing what they do, hunting whales for this purpose at the start of the movie, and or even if they had a little quick scene where they lose the goo at the end and it breaks out of the vial, it falls back into the ocean, they lose it. Even if the marine biologist, the guy from What We Do in the Shadows, the scientist, he had a one line, that's why I drink, because he's not all that happy to kill the whales for this and then just waste it. Like he's trying to see a bit of sort of respect to them, and he like see the two guys, the two New Zealanders, they had their own reasons as to why they didn't hunt whales, close to the Navi. One was no, they'll attack us, and the other was no, we can't do that because there's a spiritual connection to them. And if he just had, when the boat was getting destroyed, if they had the vial on them or near him, if he maybe saw that it was going to break or go into war, he just purposely not retrieve it or salvage it.
Let it go. Yeah,
he'd let it go. I expect to see him again. So I do expect to see him again. For the little scenes he was in, I like him quite a bit. And any character that I want to see again. Any character who survived in the first one came back in an appearance. Even the two humans,
Norm and the other Max. Yeah.
Even he had a few small scenes, but he was there, which was good. I liked. Even the other soldier, I forget his Lyle, I think his name was, because I knew he was also coming back just to see the nine. Okay, he got crushed by the rhinos in the first one, and he's back. He didn't die. He was knocked over the boat, so he's gonna make an appearance. He's gonna die. He'll die, but he's like a Starscream from Transformers.
Yeah, he's like the henchman, the main henchman of the bad guys.
Yeah.
And so, how did you feel then? This is we're kind of coming up on time here now, so we'll kind of wrap this up as we go. But this movie was filmed at the same time as the third movie, so there's obviously there's certain aspects of this movie that foreshadow the third one. How did you feel about those? Did you feel okay seeing those scenes, knowing we'll get the answer in the next one, hopefully? Specifically the scenes with Kira and her connection to Awa. Kiri and her connection to Awa.
I hope she's not going to be the main character, and I hope she doesn't become one with Awa, because I do like that character quite a lot.
I think she is Awa. I think she's a physical manifestation of Awa.
Yes, I do believe that too. Of course, that's what it is. Even though does she have a father? Is it your man Norm?
No, I didn't think so at all. No way. I think that she's like you said there, a Jesus figure of immaculate conception.
What can it be both? I don't know. I'd only would like that if they foreshadowed it. If they just had Norm, who was trying to do some tests on her when she had the seizure. If Kiri had a little moment, because she when they were joking about that, they pulled it off as a joke. But yeah, I don't. I'm happy. I don't want to decide anything, but I do expect to see answers for that. I suppose I expect to see them at war still. Because at the end of the day, if they kill Jake, if of course it achieved his mission, kill Jake. Well, what happens now? They're still at war with the humans. That's what they were doing, wasn't it? The war is still going to happen, or she's just not hunting them. They'll probably be assigned a new mission. What if he killed Jake and then he was captured by the reef people, somehow spared as a prisoner? That's why I thought it was going. Hence, he would come around.
There's going to be repercussions for even Spider
saving him.
Yeah, that Spider's obviously going to harbor a lot of anger towards Neytiri.
I think it's more fear than anger.
I don't know. Like you would, I suppose you're right. There would be a lot of fear, but also maybe resentment that she was prepared to kill him.
Yeah,
not even sacrifice, to kill him.
And I wish we had a little two-shot exchange with that.
Yeah, something to an acknowledgement of, that happened. That's an actual thing that we went through.
And I think that even hit more home as to why he did save him. He says "fuck" in the movie. He curses.
Yeah,
and he saves him.
He doesn't want to, but he feels some kind of obligation.
Yeah, I like that. I like that dynamic. I'm looking forward to it more than ever. It's another reason why I like Quaritch even more. I specifically remember when he was interrogating Navi, and he said to shoot that animal, and he burnt their homes. When Spider was begging him, pleading with him not to do it, I remember Quaritch, this is in the motion capture, like, he opened his mouth a little bit slightly before they cut away back to Spider. Is like, that's him thinking. And then when Neytiri has him at a knife point, he did it again. It's those little details that James Cameron put in those actors. And I like the simplicity of it all. And then I was into one of my other podcasters, and I'm glad that they pointed this out. Zoe Saldana is such a great visual performer in her face.
Yeah.
Almost to the point of Andy Serkis. She's probably the best female.
Yeah, I think so.
Motion capture performer.
Because
she is so feral. She's so indigenous.
Yeah.
She is so. Her cries.
Yeah.
Her cries are unlike anything other.
But yeah, that's a great way to put it, is that you do feel she is indigenous and feral, but she then has like those sweet moments with her family. But when she needs to be the warrior, she can be that straight away.
She can beat Jake in a fight.
Oh, easily. I have no doubt about it. There's no way Jake has ever beaten coming out on top of that fight. But no, the theory is great. And yeah, you're right. That like when at the beginning when the Sky People land again and the whole forest is on fire and she's just screaming her heart out, like, God, I feel so bad for her as a character. Like, she watched her home tree be destroyed, her father died, then just the forest dying, her son dying, and it's like you feel like Jake is gonna be like, I'm sorry, like this is all my fault, but it's not. But yeah, like she has those great moments, and you feel like, I feel like this is a real person that's really lost everything.
If it weren't for Quaritch's character, Neytiri is my favorite. But I think Quaritch, there's just something about him that the fact that I'm open to him taking on more of a lead role, because I like him more in this than I did in the first one.
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to seeing him again. And I'm glad he didn't die. I kind of knew he wasn't going to die. I knew he was going to be in the third one. And yeah, other than what we've already said, what we loved about and what we would change about, I'm very much looking forward to Avatar 3. I can't wait for it. It's going to be in IMAX again, but who knows where we're going to be in 2024 December. But having said all that, not exactly worth the 13-year wait.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I think.
It made the longer we waited, the more special of an event it felt.
Yeah,
but it still was a simple story. The visuals and the technology outweigh the story.
I think he's making up for the so long of a wait by the fact that we're getting one in 2 years.
Yes.
You know, that
he has shot it already.
Yeah, and that they're working on 4 and 5. Like it kind of evens out, I suppose, when you, what was it, 2009, the first one, so 13 years from 1 and 2, and then another 3 years, or another 2 years for 3. Yeah. So that'll be over 15 years, we'll get 3. It averages out to be one every 5 years. It doesn't feel like that.
It does close to come to that, and at least the fact that he has Stephen Lang and Sigourney Weaver, they're old. Like, they're old actors. They're in their 60s to 70s. I'm glad they have Avatar 3 shot, because I want them to stay in it as long as possible. So, Stephen Lang's 73 or something like that.
73?
Swear to God, yeah.
Oh my God, he doesn't look it. Now, I know he was in a nice new Avatar body, but even still, the shots of him at the beginning when he was playing the video for himself,
I could see the old age in that.
And those were some great scenes as well. We're running on time here, but the shots where they were kind of traveling through the first movie again, like they found the hut and they found the exoskeleton and his own skeleton. I thought that those were great. Like, you really feel like, oh, this is a world where 13 years have passed real time.
Yeah.
But certain things have stayed exactly how they were. So I love those scenes where they were going back and he picked up his own skull.
One last thing. I thought the realization that this is Spider's father and Jake realizing this is Quaritch, and well, specifically those two scenes, I thought they were passed over so seamlessly. Whereas I mean, Neytiri had the moment saying when he recognized the arrows, and then he shouted out to her, "Is that you, Mrs. Sully?" And then she instantly realizes it's him, but accept it. She accepts it's him. I guess that's us as an audience member expecting us, James Cameron, to baby us into the characters. Oh my God, it can't be.
Well, I think I'd be like that if someone I knew died 13 years ago and then all of a sudden reappeared. You'd be taken aback by it,
But knowing the sci-fi nature around it, the fact that humans can be avatars.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it's somewhat similar and easily acceptable, even to the point that Spider knows who his father is, and it's like, dude, that's where you and my dad and your dad fought. Like it's normal. Like they've already gone past the point where they've had to talk about who he is and where he comes from. They've gone past that to the point where it's normal.
Yeah, it's not even like my dad and your dad fought. Your mom killed my dad.
Yeah,
it doesn't harbor any resentment over that. They've gone past that.
We've hit the next stage. We've just started on the stage where we move on, where it hits more home to the story. I guess the whole shock factor for Jake Sully to, because there was no real proper meet between Jake Sully and Quaritch. The next scene, they're talking about it, and they don't have a real face-to-face until towards the very end, when they're chatting on the radio. So it's a real who's Quaritch's enemy, Neytiri or Jake?
Yeah,
because when he says, "I owe you a debt" to Neytiri, it's either or. Which is why I think he's going to come around. He's the most interesting character for me right now. Stephen Lang character. It's great. I love it. I love that he came back. He's skyrocketing up there. So, what's our run time?
We're just at 37 minutes first now. After the edit, who knows how it'll be. But I think that's a good place to wrap. Thanks so much to everyone for listening to the first episode of Talking Pictures Podcast.
Talking Pictures Podcast is our name, in case we haven't stated enough. This is our first podcast. If you enjoyed listening to us, great. Subscribe.
Keep listening.
Keep listening.
We don't have all our social medias yet, but we'll have them, I'm sure, in the description. So if you want to follow us on that, keep up to date with when we're posting. We don't have a fixed schedule just yet, but I'm sure we'll come into a groove and have a regular schedule at some point. But yeah, if you want to.
We're not getting paid for this. We're working men. We will do this on the wing when we're talking about where. And just also remember, we're in Ireland. We get all our Oscar movie releases in January, like The Whale, Fablemans, Babylon, and such. So we're not gonna follow this movie was released on this weekend, so expect a review or a chat about this.
Yeah, no, stuff will come as it comes. Everything is, unless you listen to this the first week it comes out, it's already in the past. So. We'll watch a movie. We'll talk about it. You can watch the movie beforehand and see if opinions line up. But yeah, we'll just take it as it comes. We'll all be chill, relaxed.
Yeah, save it to your list. And if that doesn't work out, then don't bother.
Yeah,
we want lovers, not haters.
Yeah,
and that's the thing about Talking Pictures. There'll always be pictures that he's spoken about.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, David.